Welcome back. We're here at Microsoft Ignite, and I've got a special guest with me, Mr. Jeremy Winter. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing really good. Thanks for having me here.
You know, I always love these things because I get to talk to interesting people, and also Jeremy. I'm just kidding. Can you tell us about the announcements that are coming? Because you're gonna learn. Like, the cool thing I like about Jeremy is that when I learn about what's actually going on underneath Azure, it's like super impressive to me. So tell us about some of the new things here at Microsoft Ignite.
Yeah, I mean, when you want to think about, you want to talk about just the infrastructure side of it?
Yeah,
or how do you want
I want all of the new stuff in your world, and then we can unpack it. So let's start high level and then just unpack stuff.
Yeah, I think you're going to see at the core of it, we're going to be talking a lot about the infrastructure from my side. Infrastructure, when you think about it, is just AI has changed the game for what we expect out of infrastructure.
Yeah.
And so from my side, when you think about Azure, we really have three strategies that we're really focusing on, and you're going to see that throughout the show. But the big one is going to be, like, number one, making sure that the infrastructure is there, that's performant, and can scale to what we need on the AI side. Number two, you're going to hear a lot about Copilots and what we're doing to really simplify those from an agent perspective. And then ensuring that we have a consistent platform that runs all workloads, not just AI, but all workloads, whether that's an AI-driven one we talked about, cloud native, or even your enterprise systems that you typically a lot of customers run.
So what are some new things in general? Let's go pack each one of these.
Yeah.
Because you said infrastructure, Copilot, and then a reliable platform. Let's start with infrastructure. What are some of the things people should look out for at Microsoft Ignite? And then maybe even some of the things that they might not know about.
Yeah, I mean, at the top of the line, when you think about infrastructure, it's, I'd just say the breadth of the footprint that we have. When you sit there and think about 70 regions, 33 countries, I mean, we have infrastructure that's available for everywhere, and wherever you need to run those workloads. But then, like in Scott's keynote, and you're going to see quite a bit about this, you saw the announcement of Atlanta and Fairwater. I mean, this is massive. This is our second massive environment for AI-specific compute. It's the size of 20 football fields. It's massive. But underneath that, what it does is it really just brings the power of AI forward. And this is just thousands and thousands and thousands of GPUs that are available that are able to go power the AI infrastructure, and it's amazing. And we've hooked that, connected it with the announcement we had back in September.
Yeah.
So now you have both environments, Wisconsin and Atlanta, fully connected, and just the GPU power is just incredible. That's running.
Can you give us a sense, because I don't think people recognize like the actual scale of this stuff. Can you give us a sense specifically with Fairwater, what kind of computations can you do? What's going on there?
Well, I think first when you think about the GB300 is the latest that we have across this entire environment. And it is 11 times the performance of any of the previous environments. Like if you just looked at the H100, how far it went. Our latest, or the previous edition, if you want to go poke in this a little bit.
This thing right here?
This is the GB200 that we thought we'd share.
Yeah.
And this, again, is in our environments as well, but this is the one I can get my hands on because all the GB300s are deployed.
They're being
busy.
used.
They're busy.
Yeah, they're busy.
So I think but when you think about the GB300 itself, because I know you like the AI.
I'm an AI guy.
Yeah, you are an AI geek on that front.
That's
is 1.1 million tokens a second.
I did some back of napkin calculations. That roughs out to like 7 full-length books a second.
Yeah.
It's just insane to me.
Yeah, and so it just changes the infrastructure. I think it changes the game for what we're doing. The physics that the teams have had to go do to build as fast as they're building, and then the technology that makes its way back.
So let's talk about that for a second, because I obviously, you said I'm an AI. I love AI, but I'm sure there's things that you've been learning while having to support AI that maybe has fed back into other things? So tell us about that.
The big one I've just hit the punchline would probably be performance, and around just like how efficient we can run our environments, how fast we can do it, and then bringing that back to the rest of the workloads. So when you see technologies we're going to talk about in the show like Boost, we've seen improvements even since build 1.5 times on its own throughput and performance on it. So it also makes its way not in only how we build the infrastructure and build the capacity and how we think about storage and network and compute, that all makes it back into the engineering teams, but it also makes it into the apps and how we think about it. So for example, a lot of AI apps are pulling through cloud native capabilities.
Right.
So you'll see massive amount of use of AKS or Kubernetes in our Azure Kubernetes service. And so you see work where things like AKS Automatic, which will be announced I think Scott talked about it, and I'll definitely talk about it in my infrastructure section. These are really just how we simplify the scale of these large deployments of Kubernetes. And so you see that, you see us leveraging PostgreSQL in a much bigger way, because as you see the ecosystem of AI, it's also driving in the ecosystem of the cloud native. And so those mashups of the efficiency and cost and performance of the infrastructure makes its way back into even to the services that then everyone builds. And as we see, this just keeps stepping the game up on how we think about the infrastructure.
So admittedly, I'm a software guy, and I feel like I underappreciate the actual scale of the work that's happening on the infrastructure side. What are some things that you would be like, Seth, you should really know about what it takes infrastructure-wise to make all of this stuff work? What are some things that audience might not know that they should know that Azure just does natively that really is awesome?
Well, I think when you just sit back and look at the deployments, the infrastructure, people don't have to worry about the data centers and the facilities anymore. I mean, and the demand is just growing immensely. So if you try to think about a data center a month, I mean, you're not going to get that, right? And so this level of speed and I'll say physics that we're putting in to go build not only our AI data centers in our regions, but ours that are available for the commercial cloud. It just keeps, I call it, bending the curve of physics and bringing that up. But you also see it in how we think about simplifying even how we run our systems. And so with Azure Copilot, as an example, this is this agentic approach that we're going to be bringing into the customer's base. And the agentic approach is something we do internally as well. How do we scale and be more efficient and reduce a lot of the toil through this agentic approach with AI? And so with Copilot, you're seeing us start to go bring in agentic capabilities for troubleshooting, optimizing, deploying.
Yeah.
And so these are all just elements that are going to be coming into the core of it.
I love it. So we talked about infrastructure, and now we're starting to get into the Copilot. So you mentioned a little bit. Can you dive in a little bit? Because when I think about Copilot, I'm a programmer. I'm thinking, GitHub Copilot is going to help me code. Is that a similar thing for the Copilot that you're talking about on the Azure side?
Yeah, I'm actually going to tie you to that.
Okay.
The Azure Copilot piece is really about how you deploy or operate. So we often will see the IT side of your developer story. The IT side will be working within that or deploying within it. Now, ironically, we're also bringing together the Copilots on both sides, GitHub Copilot and Azure Copilot. And so what you'll see there is, let's just talk about modernization. Modernization, when we think about the apps themselves, well, this takes a while.
Yeah.
And so we've been talking lift and shift, moving workloads onto Azure, and we have a new AI capability that's an early preview that you should all keep an eye on this to help you lift and shift workloads, get your environment set up. So all of it, automatically through the AI with AI guardrails and AI-centric guidance to even get your inventory done, your assessments done, and even get those landing zones done.
Yeah.
But the app side, we've all struggled.
Yeah.
Right? How do I take an old .NET or an old Java app?
Because the cloud now is not like in computer years, the cloud is now old. So you might have something that could be considered legacy on the cloud, right?
Yeah, or even on-prem.
Yeah.
Or sitting on that VMware environment,
Yeah.
right? So that's the second piece of the coin, is now we've created the collaboration between the Azure Copilot and the GitHub Copilots so that you can collaborate with the developers and the IT. So if you're the developer, I can go get the environment assessed, understand those applications, get it up and ready, hand it to you, Seth, to go take a .NET or a Java app, let's just say a Java app, and then go modernize it with the GitHub Copilot. So what would take months? Okay, let's call it you're amazing developer.
Yeah,
so weeks,
months. Like if you're
weeks.
having me do infra stuff, we're talking months.
But
and maybe 3 or 4 times I messed it up, right?
Yeah. But this now is within hours. So you're literally able to use AI to do the transform or transformation of the actual code of the historical, let's say, Java app that's running on sneak peek. In my session, we're going to do a demo of it coming off of VMware.
Okay.
And fully automated through AI between both Copilots. You'll have that app updated. You'll have the ability to have full-on guidance for the app. It will then allow you within GitHub Copilot to go ahead and deploy right in the environment that was set up by Azure Copilot. And it's you can even choose to upgrade to PaaS services right there. I could take my old databases and move them right into Postgres because I'm going cloud native.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to leverage all of those core capabilities. So
And the cool thing about this,
changing the game.
the thing I've been loving about this is, as a dev, I like to look at code, but now as we're moving into infrastructure as code, and then having Copilot assist with that, the modernization can go much faster and in a repeatable way. Is that what you're seeing as well?
Exactly. Exactly. I sat down with a couple of weeks ago with a set of customers, and I showed them what we were doing, and they're like, we just got done with all the landing zones.
We already did all the work, but I wish we would have had this.
Yeah, exactly what they said. And I think this is where everyone needs everyone just needs the speed, right? They need the ease and speed to be able to get this stuff done. And you're even seeing, and I think this, again, I think the AI aspects, the things that we've learned from the agentic approach are going to really speed that up for all of us.
That's awesome. So you talked about infra, we talked about the Copilots to help us do modernization and probably other Azure things.
Yeah.
The last one was the platform and the stability that Azure brings. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so on the platform side of the house, as we talked about, we want to be able to run all workloads.
Right.
So you need to be able to run your AI-driven ones, your cloud native, which we've been talking about, and then your traditional enterprise systems. But then the other thing you'll see kind of come out of our session is then how do you think about just the resiliency all up for the applications? And so on the resiliency side of the house, this is one you're going to see some guidance we've come out with now, because you may talk about the infrastructure on the resiliency side, but let's come up a level and talk about the applications.
Yes.
And so this is shared responsibility. We need to co-engineer this together. So Azure Resiliency will be a thing we'll talk about.
Okay.
And it'll be an element that now is really there for all of you and the customer sides to be able to get out and go do things like test your own disaster recovery. One would think. Really to be able to help monitor how that's going, get it set up. And so the goal there is to just really help simplify the resiliency across the board. Both for what we're doing as we're building out the infrastructure and ensuring that there's more availability zones and ensuring that you have the core capabilities that we need to make sure is there, but also to really help streamline that for you.
So you said something really fast, and I want to make sure we hit. You said you can test resiliency?
You can do your disaster recovery training and drills within Azure Resiliency. That's a key element of what we're
Oh my
trying to do.
gosh.
Oh, and then did we mention agents at all? Because they also built it with a resiliency agent that'll plug into Azure.
Wait, so there's a resiliency agent that will be like, hey,
You should do X.
you should fix X. Because like, here's the thing about resiliency. You're only resilient during disasters, but you don't want to have a disaster. But if you do, you want to be resilient. And so it's always like a warm blanket to know that you can do that.
Yeah. And we really want to make sure we're giving everyone the tool sets to be able to do that instead of just making sure you have the infrastructure side. We really want to make sure you also have the capabilities on the customer side.
All right, so this was gone by really fast. This has been awesome.
Yeah.
What are some things people should know about? We talked about platform, Copilot. We talked about infrastructure, Copilot, and platform. You talked about a number of things that AI is helping out with. What should people know about? Where should people go to find out more? Last words.
I mean, you'll find out a ton more. I'm going to have an infrastructure session, actually specific to AI and Azure.
Make sure you check that
It's going
out.
to be on Wednesday. We're going to do a deeper dive into the Fairwater and how we're building the AI infrastructure. And we'll go a little bit deeper even into the Copilots. We'll show 6 of them. We'll demo. We'll get deeper into those. And then that migration modernization one, we'll do the same thing. I'll go deep in and show a good demo of where we're headed there. And then, of course, think about the rest of the sessions. You have a ton of engineers that are already here. The ones that build the solutions are here. They're on the floor. They're presenting. So for everyone tuning in, I would definitely make sure you go look. We've got IaaS sessions, security sessions, storage sessions, network sessions, deeper into the migration sessions. And so really do take the time to go in and meet the engineers that are building this.
So this is amazing. If you're watching online and you're not here, make sure to check out all the sessions. They're going to be available to everyone to watch. I love the idea of we're not just throwing stuff over to IT, and it's now sort of a combined thing. So I love it. Thank you so much for spending some time with us, bud.
Anytime. Thanks for having me.
And thank you so much. We'll be right back after this.